Before his death, Hollywood legend James Coburn sat down and revealed something no one expected. He wasn't just reminiscing about Bruce Lee's iconic kicks or his dazzling speed on screen. No, Coburn revealed a side of Bruce Lee that was raw, dangerous, and almost otherworldly. "I've got a 1-inch punch that's better than anything you did," Bruce had said to him with that mischievous grin. Coburn laughed, thinking it was just Bruce being Bruce, confident, fiery, playful, but moments later, he found himself crashing backward into a chair, tumbling to the ground, gasping for air, all from a punch that barely moved an inch. This wasn't just fighting, it was something else. A shockwave of energy, a precision strike that defied logic. In that moment, James Coburn saw the Dragon not as Hollywood's martial arts star, but as a man who had broken free from the rules of combat, artistry, and even the system that tried to contain him. And when Coburn peeled back the curtain on Bruce Lee's real life, the revelations weren't glossy tributes, they were heavy, they were shocking, and they showed us the cost of living at full speed, of defying an industry, and of refusing to bow to anyone's expectations. This is the story of Bruce Lee and James Coburn, the actor and the dragon, the student and the friend and the truth that still shakes Hollywood decades later. You're watching The Wake Up Lab, where hidden truths and untold stories come alive. If you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss the stories they never wanted you to hear. James Coburn was known as the cool, composed cowboy of Hollywood. Calm eyes, steady voice, an actor who never needed to shout to command the screen. Bruce Lee, on the other hand, was fire itself. Explosive, unpredictable, relentless. And yet, in the late 1960s, these two men, so different on the surface, struck a friendship that was unlike anything Hollywood had seen before. Their bond wasn't built on red carpet fame or studio politics. It was built in living rooms, in training gyms, and in deep conversations about life, creativity, and rebellion. They hated Hollywood's system. They hated being told how to act, how to think, how to live. For Bruce, martial arts was never just combat. It was philosophy in motion. For Coburn, Bruce wasn't just a fighter. He was an artist sculpting himself, chiseling away at every weakness, refining every thought. Coburn once said, "Bruce created himself. Every move, every breath, every word was about becoming." But their friendship wasn't just philosophical, it was physical. One afternoon, Bruce visited Coburn at his Los Angeles home. Conversation drifted, as it always did, to martial arts. Bruce grinned and brought up his famous 1-inch punch. Coburn, tall, strong, athletic, chuckled. "All right, show me." Bruce adjusted his stance, barely moved, and then Coburn flew backward, crashing into a chair that toppled beneath him, rolling across the floor into the corner of his own living room. He wasn't bruised, he wasn't bleeding, but he was shaken to his very core. "It felt," he said, "like being hit by a shockwave I never saw coming." From that day, Coburn was changed. Bruce became more than a friend. He became a teacher, almost a guru. Coburn trained with him not just to learn how to punch, but to understand how to be. Bruce showed him that martial arts wasn't about muscles or raw strength. It was about control, mechanics, energy, about channeling yourself fully into a single movement. And that philosophy didn't stop in the gym. Bruce Lee lived it everywhere. At the dinner table, he could turn holding chopsticks into a metaphor. For balance and control, walking down the street, he'd explain how posture reflected intention. For Bruce, life itself was training. His mantra: "Be water, my friend. Water takes any shape. Water adapts, flows, or crashes." And Bruce lived that principle in his fights, in his films, and in his war with Hollywood. Because, make no mistake, Bruce Lee's biggest fight wasn't in the dojo. It was with the Hollywood system itself. Executives wanted Bruce to play villains, caricatures. They wanted him to be the kung fu guy, not the hero, never the thinker, never the legend. When Bruce pitched Circle of Iron, a deeply philosophical martial arts film about truth and enlightenment, the studios laughed. They wanted flash, not philosophy. They wanted Bruce to throw punches, not ideas, and Bruce refused. He walked away, furious but unbroken. James Coburn remembered that moment vividly, the fire in Bruce's eyes, the frustration in his voice. Bruce wasn't chasing fame or money. He wanted respect. He wanted authenticity. He wanted to change the way the East was seen in the West End. So he left Hollywood, returning to Hong Kong, where he could write, direct, choreograph, and star in his own films without compromise. The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, low budget, high impact. They shattered records, electrified audiences, and turned Bruce into a global phenomenon, but the cost was heavy. Behind the scenes, Bruce was burning himself out. He trained harder than anyone, pushing past pain and exhaustion. He was managing productions, writing scripts, choreographing fights, building a brand, and carrying the burden of being the first of his kind. Coburn saw it. He heard it in Bruce's voice on late-night calls, when his friend sounded tired, slurred, but still dreaming, still pushing. Bruce was a storm that couldn't slow down. And in 1973, just weeks before his masterpiece Enter the Dragon hit theaters, that storm ended. Bruce Lee was gone, At only 32, James Coburn was devastated. He said it felt like losing someone mid-sentence, someone who had so much more to say, so much more to give. In Coburn's words, he was a master who never got to finish his painting. Bruce's death wasn't just the loss of a friend. It was the loss of an artist who dared to defy a system that never truly accepted him until it was too late. But Coburn also made it clear. Bruce won, not in the way he may have wanted, but in the way that mattered most. His philosophy of water, of self-creation, of truth outlived him. His presence reshaped martial arts, cinema, and even the way the world thought about discipline, movement, and creativity to the world. Bruce Lee was a fighter. To James Coburn, he was something more. He was a creator. And creators like that never really die. James Coburn's final words about Bruce Lee weren't about loss, but about legacy. He believed Bruce's greatest fight wasn't in the ring or on the screen. It was against the limits others tried to place on him. And even though that fight cost him dearly, Bruce Lee emerged victorious because today, his vision lives in every martial arts gym, in every philosophy book, and in every person who refuses to be boxed in. So I'll leave you with reflection. Bruce wasn't finished. He was still painting. And maybe we're the ones meant to carry the brush forward. What do you think? Was Bruce Lee's greatest fight really against Hollywood itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is the Wake Up Lab. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay awake.